You cannot control the world, but you can always control your reaction to it. This simple truth holds more weight than volumes of philosophy. In a world where everything is constantly shifting, economies, relationships, weather, opinions, there's one steady anchor available to every individual: mastery over oneself. While others are carried away by emotional tides, the man or woman who learns to discipline their reactions stands apart. Self-mastery is the first true victory in life, and without it, no success can be permanent. Mastery over your emotions, thoughts, and impulses is not inherited, it's earned. And it is earned through repeated choices made in silence when no one is watching. Imagine walking into a room where people are panicked, worried, reactive, and loud. The one person who remains calm, speaks slowly, breathes deeply, and radiates control, that person immediately becomes the most powerful presence in the room. Not because of wealth, title, or size, but because of their inner command. That's the power of self-mastery. It is invisible but deeply felt. Reactions are habits. Most people don't even choose their responses. They're conditioned. If someone criticizes them, they flare up. If they face rejection, they sink into despair. If plans fail, they fall apart. These patterns weren't chosen consciously. They were adopted over time, repeated until automatic. But what is learned can be unlearned, and what is automatic can be overridden by conscious will. Every reaction is a chance to reclaim your power. Every test is a doorway to self-discipline. Think of the strongest people in history, not those who ruled by fear or violence, but those who led with stillness, who stayed calm while the world around them burned. Their strength was not in how loud they roared, but in how little they wavered. When your inner world is governed by clarity, peace, and discipline, the outer world loses its power over you. The insult, the delay, the betrayal, the loss, they may still occur, but they no longer dictate your behavior. People often assume that acting unaffected means suppressing emotions or becoming robotic. It's not about pretending you don't feel, it's about choosing how you express what you feel. It's the difference between letting anger control you and using anger to fuel necessary change. It's the difference between falling apart when plans collapse and stepping back to reassess with logic and poise. This kind of control doesn't make you less human. It makes you more powerful than most. To begin mastering your reactions, you must become aware of them. Every day, pause when something triggers you. Instead of reacting instantly, take a breath. That breath is your reset. It's the space between impulse and response. In that space, you reclaim control. This doesn't mean you never respond emotionally. It means your emotions don't run the show. You do. Control doesn't mean silence either. There is power in speaking. But it must be intentional, not impulsive. A calm no can be more commanding than a loud yes. A thoughtful pause can silence a room more effectively than shouting. Power is not noise. It's energy, focus, discipline. And the most focused energy is the kind that's not scattered by emotional reactions. This self-mastery becomes especially important in the face of criticism. Most people crumble under the weight of others' opinions. One harsh word and their entire day is ruined. One negative comment and they begin to question their path. But when you've built the internal fortress of discipline, criticism becomes feedback, nothing more. You filter what is useful and discard what is not. You don't react. You respond, and only when necessary. The world will constantly give you opportunities to react emotionally. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss overlooks your effort. A friend betrays your trust. In each case, you are invited to fall into the old pattern of anger, resentment, or despair. But you can decline the invitation. You can choose to rise instead. And with every choice you make to remain composed, you reinforce the muscle of self-mastery. It grows stronger with use. True power is silent. It's the ability to stand in the storm, soaked to the bone, and still speak clearly. It's the courage to smile when mocked, to remain kind when provoked, to act on principles instead of emotions. This doesn't mean you'll never feel pain or frustration, but it means you won't be ruled by them. In moments of stress, the person with self-control becomes a leader. Even if no one gave them the title, people instinctively follow calm. They trust it. When chaos breaks out, everyone turns to the one who remains still. That is your edge. Not force, not fear, but composure. It's not about what you feel. It's about what you do with what you feel. That is where victory lives. You'll notice that as you build this internal command, people begin to treat you differently. Not because you've told them to, but because your energy demands it. You become a mirror that reflects their chaos without absorbing it. You become a presence that doesn't rise or fall with external drama. And that presence creates respect, not just in others, but in yourself. Because deep down, self-respect is built when you prove to yourself that you're not at the mercy of emotion. Every time you choose not to yell, not to over-explain, not to lash out, you win. Every time you stay quiet when provoked, or respond calmly when disrespected, or keep moving forward when discouraged, you win. These victories are invisible, but they're more powerful than anything material. They change your posture, your mindset, your destiny. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You won't always get it right. Sometimes emotion will still hijack your reaction. But the more you practice, the faster you return to center. The more you discipline your responses, the more powerful they become. Over time, you'll find that things which once triggered you no longer affect you. You've reprogrammed your mind. You've strengthened your will. You've built armor, not to hide, but to walk boldly through life, unaffected by the noise. You've built armor, not to hide, but to walk boldly through life, unaffected by the noise. As you continue to grow in this discipline, you'll start to notice something remarkable. Your peace becomes unshakable. Where others lose sleep over minor setbacks, you rest easily. Where others spiral into frustration over the things they cannot control, you redirect your energy to what you can control. Your attitude, your thoughts, your next move. You begin to value your peace over your pride. You don't need to be right in every argument, because your ego no longer demands validation. You don't need to retaliate to every insult, because your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. There's great freedom in this detachment. Not indifference, but powerful detachment. You still care, you still feel, but you're no longer owned by outcomes. You act with intention, then release the need to control what happens next. You show up with effort, then let go of the need for applause. You give your best, then remain calm whether it's rewarded or ignored. That's real maturity. That's real strength. And it's rare. When you build this way of thinking into your life, people will begin to wonder how you remain so composed. They'll assume you don't feel the pressure, or that you've somehow been spared from hardship. But you'll know the truth. It's not that the pressure isn't there, it's that you've trained yourself to stand under it. You've become mentally resilient, and your reactions are no longer dictated by the situation, but by your decision. Because make no mistake, every reaction is a decision. It might not feel like one, especially in the heat of the moment, but it is. And the more you take ownership of your emotions, the more power you gain over your life. You no longer leave your inner peace in the hands of others. You reclaim it and you protect it like the priceless asset it is.